get a job, well, my Irish father-in-law didn't even get me dinner. And so I didn't start that way, and didn't finish that way. But what is the process of landing such gargantuan sports franchises? You know, what goes into it? How many of you here have ever stalked or hunted elephants? Can you raise your hand? Not many, huh? Well, you had dreams. I'm an elephant hunter. Hunting elephants isn't about poaching or killing. That's not what I'm talking about. Certainly not those magnificent creatures for any monetary gain or pride or glory. It's about chasing and winning big. When I mean really big dreams, really big goals, really big deals, really big opportunities, visually sometimes way out of your grasp, beyond your economic resources, maybe beyond your relationships, whatever, you vision it. You vision that dream. When you're 25, 20, 30, 40, 50, however old you are, you have that dream. Now, how do you make that dream work? Well, you have to do some things. You have to give it a time limit, which gives it some urgency and makes it a goal. So reaching beyond your grasp, reaching beyond all the resources you have to go for something, to hunt those elephants, to stalk those elephants, is a real act of daring do. I've hunted and killed my share of elephants in my life, and I've enjoyed the glory and the gold from it. But I've also had the gory, public shame, difficulty, cataclysmic failure that doing that entails. Because you don't win all the time, you lose a lot. I mean, be prepared to lose a lot. I've hunted so many things and lost so many times and had so many brutal defeats and failures that I could just line them up and tell you them. I've had a big professional hockey team. The mascot was more attractive than the players, and the audience didn't give a puck. I had product companies with more products entered in my garage and less money in my bank account. I even had movies like Bonfires of the Vandies. Even when it was shown on planes, people tried to walk out. So I had every kind of failure you can imagine. But I never set my sights on smaller prey. Easier to catch, easier to stalk. I always thought, what if, not just how to. And that was what fueled me. Why? Because the biggest successes in sports and in business resulting in sports results in what I call flying in the red zone. Being at risk. Being at risk. That's where the greatest opportunity lies. Let me see here. Raise your hand here, right? If anybody ever failed at anything, raise your hand. Okay, leave it up. Raise your other hand if you ever felt pain or embarrassment from that failure. Look at the position you're in. Surrender. You didn't and I didn't. Because intuitively you know that success and failure are handmaidens on the journey. You can't guarantee success. The best baseball player in the world strikes out 5 or 6 out of 10 times. If he dribbles the ball past the shortstop 3 times out of 10, he's a multi-millionaire. So the odds are you're going to fail a lot. If you're risk averse and fear failure, you move farther from the red zone. And actually you move farther from the opportunity for success. Reaching beyond what's comfortable is the key to hunting elephants. Those dreams, those visions, those big deals, those big opportunities, those big sales, those big relationships that can move your career, your life in sports forward exponentially. To truly succeed in the sports entertainment business in a big way, the sports management business, you really must be dyslexic. You must think no means on. If you don't, you will take no and you will back away. And you'll definitely not succeed. You must be absolutely determined, regardless of how many times you face rejection. If you hunt elephants in any area of sports, you will fail a lot. Most of the drama we fear in our lives, most of it, is something that never materializes. So really, how do you manage that emotion, the emotional self-view in sports when you want to succeed, or a sports business, or sports enterprise, or sports media? Well, you got to think of fear differently. You got to reprogram yourself, because fear is inherent to us as a culture for our survival. That's what's wired into our DNA. We know when something's threatening to us, and we usually move away from it, or we fight it, or flight. So the idea is, recognize that's okay. It means something is happening. There's something of uncertainty. You're trying for new ground. It's a good sign. But think of fear differently. F-E-A-R. Think of it as false evidence appearing real. As 90% of the crap you worry about never happens. But it takes you off course. And you never realize your goals, certainly in sports. If you're not failing enough, you're not testing how successful you can be. That's really the test. If you've never failed, then you really haven't tried to see what your capacity is. And in sports, it's about operating that last 10%, not the first 10%. And it's likely that your fear of failure is keeping you from testing how good you can be in a sports business or sports entertainment or sports media field. Michael Jordan, arguably one of the greatest basketball players ever, said at a meeting, he said at an NBA meeting, he said, I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games, and on 26 occasions I've been entrusted to take the final shot for winning, and I missed. And that's why I succeeded. The idea is, understand that's part of the process. For me, I experienced 15 years of continuous failing to close the big deal to win a Major League Sports franchise, which was the dream elephant I hunted. So I was at Sony. Failure stories of failure. I was at Sony. I was the chairman CEO. Huge company, global company. And we were stuck after 4 or 5 years. We had no electronic distribution outlet. One company owned ABC, one company had a big cable company, another one had Turner, there was somebody at ESPN. All these different companies had electronic distribution. Sony didn't. So I went after NBC. I failed. Why? Because we were a foreign-owned company, and the FCC said foreign-owned company couldn't own one of the American networks. We were stuck. Driving along one of the boulevards in Los Angeles, I saw a sign that said Prime Ticket. It was a big cable company owned by Bill Daniels. And it had the Lakers and the Kings. I said, what if I could buy that, make it a superstation, and use that as a fulcrum or a leverage point to move my other product through? So I went after it, but I learned how to buy the Lakers and the Kings. But convincing Japanese to buy a hockey team is an act of daring do it itself. But I worked on it and worked on it. Took them there, took them to the game. They didn't like the food, that's for sure. They didn't like the game either, but that's beside the point. But I made it to the end. I got the Lakers, the Kings, the Forum, and Prime Ticket. Had the deal all done, finished. Sony had it. 3 days before all the signings, Bruce McNall, who was the head of the owners committee for the NHL Kings, called me and said, I can't sign the deal. I'm going to go to jail. I've been indicted by the federal government for tax fraud or some type of fraud. And the whole deal fell apart. Elephant gored me. It was embarrassing, uncomfortable, difficult, and painful. But I didn't get it. And then 3 or 4 months later, Phil Anschutz picked it up and created some of those components into what is now a formidable franchise of AEG, which has the Staples Center and O2 in Europe and another big venue in Germany, a huge multi-billion-dollar enterprise. But I failed. I failed. After I left Sony, I went after the Miami Heat with my then very good friend Pat Riley and another global entrepreneur as my partner. I went after the Miami Heat, put the whole deal together, got the deal made, got the deal organized, got the deal written, and the last second, the seller, Chaffel and Cunningham, the 2 owners of the Miami Heat, said we have one tiny thing to fix. Always worry about a tiny thing, so I love that, tiny thing to fix. One of the prior owners, Ted Aronson, who owns Cardinals Blues Line, had 19.9% of the team, of the franchise, had the right to call it in. He had never been to a game in 5 years, so it was unlikely he would do that. Of course, unlikely doesn't mean it's not likely, it means it's unlikely. And what it was likely. He called it in, he bought the franchise, and Pat Riley went to that franchise, became the president and co-owner, and I failed. I went home. Then, I went after the Oakland A's. About a year later, put the whole deal together, baseball team up in Oakland, American League, put the whole deal together, worked it, brought Billy Beane to my house, signed the deal with him, gave him a piece of the team, all fully executed, and unfortunately, Bud Selig said, I can't approve you for baseball. Now, I was completely approvable. I had already owned all these minor league teams, as you saw there, 6, 7, 8 of them with Magic Johnson, and so there was no reason not to approve me, but really, he said, it's about contraction. We're going to contract the American League, 2 American League teams, the Minnesota Twins and the Oakland A's. Well, really what he said was concoction. He was concocting an idea how I wouldn't get the team so he could sell it to his college roommate, Lou Wolf. And that's what happened. And I lost that one. And Billy Beane is there now. So I failed again, publicly, painfully, cataclysmically. Through each of these painful failures, I built intellectual, experiential, and relationship capital. Hear that. Intellectual, relationship, and experiential capital. Capital, I didn't say financial capital. I had those kinds of capital resources, which ultimately served me very well and is far more powerful than money. In 2010, after a long, challenging agreement to acquire an NBA franchise, we worked very hard on it in San Francisco, the Golden State Warriors. My partner, Joe Lake, and I were certainly the dark horse to acquire this first big city franchise that had come up in 16 years, Golden State Warriors. The team was losing money. We paid the most. We would have paid the most ever paid for a national franchise in the NBA. But we weren't going to get it because the big elephant stalkers were after it. People like Larry Ellison, Oracle Bonderman, huge, financial resources. We stayed in the game. We stayed in the hunt. We kept stalking. And just as fate would have it, at the last minute, we did an incredible strategic move. My partner went to North Carolina. We discussed it, sitting in the room face to face, breathed the same air, and told him the story how we'd protect the legacy and we would pay the price if he'd sign right now. He signed. But that same day, the San Francisco Chronicle got word that Larry Ellison had won and printed the headline of the paper, the San Francisco Chronicle, "Ellison wins Warriors." He was sitting there with a signed contract. We won. They got it wrong. That elephant hunter didn't make it. So here was a place where we really weren't on the inside track, really didn't have the lead horse, really probably shouldn't have got it, and we got it. So the idea is, you're never going to be certain of the result. You can only be certain of the journey. And in sports, hunting elephants, whether they're media assets, whether they're sports assets, team assets, player assets, advertising assets, things generally beyond your grasp, that's what you have to do. You have to be completely impatient, but not imprudent. And the trick is to have that right attitude. That's the key thing. So we caught that elephant. So what really happened? 18 months later, I was approached by several other elephant hunters. Earlier in my career, I had worked on acquiring the Dodgers back in the early 2000s. One of those things I failed at. Put the whole deal together with Frank McCourt, who was then going to buy the Dodgers. And we put the whole deal together. He was the one that put that deal together. And my current partner, Joe Lacob, and I were going to be the equal partners, two of us, with him being the controlling partner. The whole deal went back and forth from Massachusetts to California, back and forth and back and forth. We got everything done. And I got the call while I was in New York. In fact, having dinner with the folks from ESPN. They said, "You got the Dodgers. The deal is done." I walked back to the table because I was called on the phone. And I kissed one of the guys right in the lips. I said, "You got to remember this day. I can't tell you what it is, but it's so exciting." He said, "I don't care how exciting it is. Don't do that again." So it wasn't that exciting the next day, because the next day Frank McCourt said, "Come to Boston, you two guys. We got to just talk." We got to Boston. We found out that we were the only ones putting in the money, which is not a way to make a deal. So ultimately, the deal was going to fall apart. Joe had went and talked to him about this, and then he said to me, "You got to go upstairs and talk to him now, too. He wants to talk with you about it." I walk upstairs, he says, "I'd like to introduce you to the president of the team." He said, "The president? We're just making the deal. How can you, we're not consulting, or what would you be?" "It's my wife." We knew that the four of us couldn't sleep in a pillow at night. We knew that wouldn't work. The deal fell apart. So the Dodgers were gone. But here it is now, 2010, after the Warriors, and my plate is full, my dreams fulfilled. And these elephant stalkers came, several of them, who were after the Dodgers, when McCourt fell upon hard times and had to sell. Well, I turned them all down. I wasn't really interested in joining any one of those groups. There were like 15 of them competing for it. Until somebody who I had a great relationship with, Magic Johnson. I had bought his theaters while I was at Sony and built a very strong relationship with him. And then I brought him in as my partner on the minor league baseball teams around the country. Had a very successful financial and business relationship with him. He called and said, "We're going to buy the Dodgers, Pete." I said, "What do you mean, we?" He said, You're going to buy them. You got to come in." "Oh, no, I don't want to do it." "You got to come in with me." I said, "Okay, but keep quiet until, my hands, I fail a lot at these things." Anyways, what happens? We get it. We get the Dodgers. So sometimes just staying in the right race, staying in the fight, staying in the fray, stuff happens. Things happen. Relationship capital made the difference then. Reputational capital made the difference then. The league knew who I was and were welcoming us. So that's what you build over time, that kind of attitude. And that is the secret sauce to success. I guess I'll never stop hunting elephants, even with the failures that I know are forthcoming. Because it's a lot of fun, stalking them, looking for them, considering them, getting them, and making them work. That's really the important part. Another question I'm often asked is, how do you handle losing on the ice, the hardwood, the field? How do you like losing? Well, I never liked losing. I had all my life of losing. And I thought I was habituated away from really dealing with it. I thought, okay, now I'm done with that. I won't lose anymore. So about a year ago, I was sitting on the floor of the Warriors game in San Francisco, playing the Miami Heat. And We were watching the game, one of my players near the end of the game, we were right in there, right in the fray. This would have been a great game to win for us, just great. It was in the fray, and one of our own players was shooting foul shots. He had done it twice. He missed all 4 foul shots. $8 million a year player missing all 4 foul shots. It was glitching like this on the seat. Suddenly I get a ding on my phone. I look down, text us, Pat Riley, my pal. He says, Peter, you play 162 baseball games, 20 preseason baseball games, maybe 14 postseason baseball games, 82 basketball games, 12 preseason games, and maybe 10, if you're lucky, postseason games. It's like 290 games. You're going to lose a lot. Get used to it. Yeah, you got to get used to losing. You don't have to like it, but you got to get used to knowing that's part of your process. That's part of what you have to do if you're in the sports business. Because you can't win all the time. Just like the movie business. Oh, that'd be a great strategy in the movie business. How many people here are in the movie business or want to be in the movie business? Would you like a strategy of just make hits? You can't just make hits. You know, you have to make what you're making. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's not. And any ball game you play in, on the ice, the baseball field, the basketball court, the football field, you will have wins and losses. And how you handle the losses develops not your reputation. That's what everyone sees. It develops your character. And that's a very important part in propelling success. Another question is, what about sports being resilient sector of the entertainment business? Why is it so resilient? Well, it's really simple. It's live. It's live. Everything live. Look what's happening. We have the Dick Clark Company. Everything live. All the ratings go way up. All the television shows go up. They play the Pro Bowl from Hawaii. It's the most awful game in the world. They've tried to kill it, the NFL. I hate doing it so much. It gets a bigger rating than anything else in television. Live is crucial. Live is what separates ourselves from the digital world of kind of interstitial material and offline material into what I call the live experiential world. But in sports, there's something very special. Did you ever hear somebody at Rocky say, I want to go to the movie. I heard it was a good movie. I want to see who wins. Well, here's who wins. Well, I want to see maybe somebody else will win. What? Same person wins all the time. But in a basketball game, hockey, football, there's always a new winner, and the way to get there is always different. That uncertainty, combined with the certainty of how the game's played, gives the audience both the certainty and the variety that they crave in their life. And more importantly, guess what happens? Your audience becomes not passengers, like a movie, but participants. They actually think they make a difference. And guess what? Statistics prove they do make a difference. And that's why they carry it. They metabolize that. And that's why they're so successful in getting sponsors and advertisers. Because that metabolizing is embedded in their products that are advertised. That emotional transportation of being involved with that experience creates proprietorship on the viewer, and they own it. And then they connect with that product in a completely, wholly different way. So the idea of sports is such an incredible, attractive proposition. You can see what's paid for sports media products and sports products. People are not just audiences, they're fans, fan addicts. They follow them aggressively. They make it part of their lifestyle. It's continuity programming. So it's so vital and such a great business because it has that. And that's why sports have been so resilient and the economics have gone up so much. Another question, does anything else count but winning in the process of succeeding to put butts in seats? Now, when you're in location-based entertainment and arenas, venues, and sports, that's your job. Butts in seats, tickets. Yes, you have a media deal. Yes, you do have those things, but it's butts in seats. And you have to do that. And that's a different kind of consumer audience than somebody at home with their television set or their digital device. So let me tell you how far somebody is away from exorcising you from your product that you made when you're home watching your sports program on television. You're 1/4 of a millimeter away like that. You're gone. But when somebody drives 8.2 miles and waits 10.6 minutes and bought tickets 4.2 days with 3.2 people, they don't quit that quickly. You really captured them as a unique audience. Very valuable, extraordinarily valuable to sponsors, merchandise people, all kinds of people. So the difference is, and the key thing is, getting those people to come to your arena continually. See, you go to a movie, you go to that movie. You may go to a movie house, but you go to that movie. I mean, only a nudnik would say, hey, let's go down to the what would name your theater? The Austin Theater. I hear a Warner Brothers Pictures playing there. You'd think that was a nincompoop. It would be a nincompoop, because each movie is a product. But your team is one whole product. So what you have to do, like a restaurant, you have to get those guests to return time and time and time again. A different experience, a different connection between you, the purveyor of the sport, and the audience consuming the sport. So the key is, does anything else count? Well, here's what counts. If you can win the championship, you can have a lousy arena, a lousy experience, a lousy this, a lousy that, and you'll do really very well. But that's 1 out of 30 plus teams in each league. What about the, let's say not 1, 2, 3, how about the other 27 below the 1, 2, 3? They're in deep trouble. There's so much competing for that audience's time, so much competing for that scarce bandwidth, that how do you compete for that? How do you be successful? So what do I say counts? To be successful, everything. Every single touch point, from the time the person makes a decision or considers a decision to go to that venue, to do all those things we just said, every single touch point in that experience is crucial to getting them to come back. It's absolutely crucial. The women's bathroom at a baseball park is crucial so the woman won't be negative about coming to the baseball park. Men's bathroom isn't crucial. Women's is. You're running that park and you don't understand that difference, you're in big trouble. So that's the concept of this. Everything in that food chain, from the time they leave to get the tickets, to the time they come home, every single touch point is crucial for you in the sports of live entertainment business. Where you aim with these people is the key part. You aim here, their wallet, you're aiming for a transaction. You call them customers, they aim here and protect here. You have to think of them as an audience. You have to aim here at their heart. That's where the hits are going. You have to give them experiences that are resonant, memorable, and actionable all through the experience. Not just the sport on the floor, or the field, or the ice, but their entire experience that makes them evangelize your product, advocate it, carry it forward, become proponents of it, bring other people. That's what you depend upon. So every single detail counts. You have to develop those relationships over a period of time continually. Another question. What are the key components of success in location-based entertainment? Exactly. What are they? Okay.